Okay, I am here with the fantastic Recreate HQ. We've got Nikki and Lox here with us today.
Hello.
How's it going? You all right?
Yeah, perfect. How are you guys?
Yeah,
We're good.
Amazing, amazing. So obviously I stumbled upon Recreate HQ because it's a very unique offering.
Yeah.
Now, I've tried to explain this to people, right? And I can't even explain it because it's so brilliant and it's so unique. So can you just tell us about what is Recreate HQ?
Yeah, so Recreate HQ, essentially we're a creative hub. So we've grown up in a really creative household and our business has developed and changed over the years. So this year will be 5 years, which is amazing. But what we're focusing on now is our laser side of the business. So we basically design and make laser products for weddings, for events, like signage, finishing touches. But because we design everything ourselves, we give our customers full creative control. So anything that they want, essentially, even if it's like a wooden kind of statue, for example, we can essentially make that. So we're trying to position ourselves as the creative. So anything you want that's creative, give us a shout.
Okay, and how did this all come about?
Oh, that's the story.
Yeah, that's a long story. So we actually started off as a photography brand, and that's where our kind of passion was before, and then it kind of developed. Obviously, COVID hit.
Yeah.
That was a big down on our photography side, especially as we built it quite a bit. And then we kind of explored other avenues, other interests we had, and then we found laser, and that was, I think, a really big thing to kind of experiment with. And
I think especially at the time, because it was middle of COVID, right?
Yeah.
So that's really why the photography side kind of quietened down. We explored, doing graphic design, so like doing drawings of people. And then my brother came to me one day and he was like, you know what? I really want to buy a laser cutter. And I was like, in the middle of a pandemic, that's a bit crazy. But I was like, okay, let's go with it. And I think for us, we've both had a massive passion in art. And at school, I don't know if you ever did resistant materials, but it's basically a lot of woodworking, making things with your hands. And that's something we both really loved doing.
Okay.
So the laser cutter was something Lox had experience with, but I hadn't done it myself before, although I had a passion in that area. So when he got it, we were just like, okay, let's explore this. And I think there was just so much that you could do with a laser. It's honestly like endless possibilities. So essentially starting it was like, oh, what do we start with? Like, what do we make first?
And literally the first product we ever made was actually, I literally just messaged to a group of my work colleagues, and I literally just went, does anyone want anything custom personalized? And one of the ladies actually wanted just her son's name for his room. And we literally just cut that. And it was just so fascinating that we literally just made this product, designed it, put it onto the laser, made it, finished it off, and then sent it out to her. And then it was just so baffling that we actually created something that someone was going to use, like.
Was the first one really difficult to get out? Or did you find it just flowed? It was like you
What is in the first product?
Yeah.
Well, I mean that was like luck. Like that was like the fact that she wanted something and people wanted. I mean, we didn't really get many other people asking things. It was just like her. She was like, yeah, I want this for my room. So that was luck. That kind of worked out. But yeah, no, it was a challenging to get started, but like I've got to give it to my workplace kind of helped this quite a lot, because we made like little tags, like luggage tags for my other job that I do. I'm on cabin crew, so
oh my god, wow.
Obviously I have a huge like community family, I would say. They all supported so well. One of our aircrafts, I don't know if this is getting too much into detail, but please. So I don't know if you know much about planes, but the 747s left us in COVID, and they were like a huge legacy. Like, I love them to pieces. Like, they were amazing. They didn't work, but they were amazing. And so these left us in COVID, so it was such a big thing. We made these luggage tags to basically commemorate them.
Okay.
And everyone, I made it for myself really, just to see, like, just because I wanted it. And then I messaged crew saying, if anyone wants one, happy making it. And like the response we got was just incredible, like genuinely incredible. And like Nikki said, like, we bought this laser during COVID. It was a very unsure time. We didn't really know what was going on. So the fact that we had this support it was incredible.
Yeah.
It was really incredible.
So when Locks came up with the laser idea, did you just want to just punch him in the face? Like, you know
I
what?
did.
You did?
I'm not gonna lie. I
He
did.
wants to punch me in the face a lot.
Do you know-
It's not just that. Let's just be honest.
I think that's literally the dynamic of this business. So obviously we're brother and sister. We run the company ourselves. There's no one else in our business. And it's hard to come to a decision sometimes. And Locks is really like, he has amazing ideas and they're such big ideas, literally like getting a laser cut in the middle of a pandemic. And I'm a bit more of I would say a bit of a realist. I do take risks, but I do sit there and think, well, actually, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Is this the right time? But sometimes I just let him roll with it and I see where it goes. And I think, like he was saying with the tags, when I saw that myself, I was like, oh yeah, we've got something good here. Yeah. And it was about exploring after that. Like, what more can we do with this? What else can we create?
Yeah. I mean, the wedding stuff didn't even, which is where we're kind of at now. The wedding stuff didn't even come in at the beginning. That was, I mean, that's a good, like, was it 6 months or was it more? Was it a year later?
No, that was,
It's a year later, wasn't it?
oh God, what were we in? 2022. So January 2022.
Oh wow! So it's just
I believe is where that's when we started the wedding
stuff.
side.
Yeah, which when we didn't even, to begin with, we didn't even think that was like a really big avenue. But like after exploring and understanding the industry, we thought, you know, this is great. And a lot of event planners and people who want to do DIY stuff, we had loads of people approaching us for all of these like unique things, and we were like, yeah, well, we can create those. We can actually make this for you.
Wow!
And just expanded from there.
So, Locks, you've got a full-time job at the moment.
Part-time
job, okay. And what about you, Nikki?
Full-time.
You got full-time. Oh, well, how are you finding time in your life to produce this amazing business?
That's the ultimate question. To be fair, I'm actually very, very lucky. It's actually I'm part-time, so because of that, I have. I mean, our job already gives us a lot of time off. Yeah. So I'm very lucky to have this job. Yeah. So I get to actually put a lot of time into the business. Yeah. For Nikita, I mean, I don't know how you've been doing all these years. I think she's been, because she used to work.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've worked in office jobs most of my life. Yeah. So when we started the business, I actually just started a new job at Skynet, which is a courier company, right? So I was doing marketing, and I grew my career in marketing. So I ended up 4 years later becoming a marketing manager. Oh, wow. But in between, I did take time out and I did do like part-time work as well, because it was important for us to grow the business and to try and, you know, see where it could go. And I felt like we need to give it the time to do that. Yeah. So I did that, and then I left my job as marketing manager last year. Okay. And I was off for about maybe 5 months or so. And during that time, we really put a plan in place for the business. We kind of figured out where we want to go with this business and what was working really well. I did try and get on The Apprentice. Oh, wow. I know. Yeah.
She got to the last stage in The Apprentice.
Like, I got to the last stage. Really? It's intense. It's an intense process.
It's the second round after the whole day where you got the lift.
Oh my gosh, literally, yeah.
And then there was the second day after that. That's the one I got to. Is that where you got to?
So the second. So after the assessment day, you have the second stage, which is the group interview.
The group interview day.
Yeah, that's the day I got to.
Yeah. Literally. Well, the way that I look at it is, I was too good for it. I think you're both probably the same.
Do you know what I felt? I felt with that I was too nice. Yeah. I genuinely felt like there were so many people that were, and you know, good for them, like, you know, that, but I could see how much they wanted it, and I did feel like people would throw you under the bus to get where they want to get to. And naturally, as a person, I'm not like that. Yeah. I'm very caring, and like, I think about other people, and I would not be able to put myself in that position. Yeah. So I did think at the end of the day, I don't know if it was really for me.
So it's a long time out as well, 12 weeks, I think, as well.
Yeah, so. Exactly.
Okay, so we got a future apprentice as well, potential. Well, I don't need to actually, to be honest. I think Lord Sugar should book in stuff. So So I got one big question here. Yeah. Why don't quit? Why don't you quit your jobs?
That's a hard one. As much as I'd like to say that, you know, for me personally, like money, I think in my life I need to, like, I want to save. I've got things in the pipeline personally that I really want to make sure that I'm getting to. I love cars. Like, it costs a lot to run a car, you know, those sort of things. So for me, a lot of it is money, but as well as the fact that my job that I'm in now gives me a lot of opportunity to grow as a person, opportunities that aren't so easy to come by if I didn't have that job. So, and a lot of the time, I feel like I learn a lot that I bring into the business.
Yeah, 100%.
So, you know, like planning, for example, like thinking about how we're going to think long term for the business. Seeing that in my job and then coming home and being like, actually, Locks, let's start planning like this. And it works well for us. So,
and I think building on that point, in her last company, she was very fortunate, and this company, to be honest with you, where she's actually been she works with people that are quite high up within these companies, that are big companies. So because of that, she can see kind of how people act, what people do, and stuff like that, and then feed that back. And
you get some good advice sometimes as well,
which is like eye-opening for me, especially because I've never actually been at that level to see that sort of stuff. So it's eye-opening to see kind of how big businesses run, and how we can kind of adapt and change ourselves to kind of fit the mold, like.
So it kind of helps, like your current situation helps you within
110%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's the eldest? Is it you, Nikki?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So obviously big sister. How what's the difference? Is it 2-3 years?
1 year.
1 year only, so not really.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, sometimes I forget that I'm the older one.
Yeah, it was basically the same age.
Yeah. Oh wow. That's really close, isn't it?
Yeah, really close.
So obviously you live together as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
With our whole family.
Whole family as well, yeah. So at home. So you're still both very young.
Yeah.
Is it sub 25, 26?
28.
27.
Wow, so still very young.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got now this budding business, 28, 27. Obviously you're working full time and you're living at home. What is the next step for you?
I think the next step for us is to move out. We would love to do that. We'd love to have our own place, our own, workshop, where we can expand the sort of machinery that we have as well, and are offering to our clients. That is our goal, what we're working towards.
Yeah. We have a lot of like products and stuff that we want to bring out, and we have like in the pipeline, but just due to like space, really, it's very difficult to do these sort of things with the space that we have. And like our business is all about quality. We don't send products out if they're not to a certain standard. If they're not to a certain standard, we'll redo the whole thing just to make sure it's like perfect. And that's one reason our clients love us, because we make sure that everything's perfect before they've even received it, so that's one thing that like we did do a sign recently, actually a huge sign, and it was a challenge, should I say the least. So we're excited. That's our kind of getting a bigger space where we can actually create bigger things and work on,
Okay, so speaking of challenge, what has been your biggest struggle in, let's talk about life and business. What do you feel like the biggest thing has been?
For me, I would say, I think it's like it's a thing I've never had to, like, in my life at least, like obviously when you're young, you do what you kind of want to do whenever you want to do it. And having working with Nikita, I think Nikita might say the same thing, to be honest with you. Working with a family member or just another partner, especially when you're 50-50 in the business, it can get very challenging at times. Obviously, like when you're so passionate about something and you believe that this is the kind of the right thing, and then your business partner says, I don't think that's the right thing. I think this is the right thing. And it's hard to come to a middle ground. But I mean, we do get there in the end, it takes us a while, but we get there. But like, I'd say that's like, I think it's a constant challenge, but I wouldn't do this with anyone else in the world. Like,
I have to say that is so weird you said that, because mine was the exact same. I think the biggest challenge is the fact that we're siblings and we've always been so close since we were young. We would, like, even now, like if I was to go out with my friends, Locks comes out with me. Like my friends know him. We're like, do you know what I mean? It's we're so close. So definitely a struggle, because 50-50, who wins? Sometimes I'm really strong against one point and he's really strong against another, and it's like, well, what do we do? So obviously someone always kind of loses out in that sense. But saying that, I do feel like there's been times that I've said, I don't really believe in this particular idea. He's like, we have to do it. I know it's going to work. And I'm like, okay, fine, we'll do it. And it works and it's amazing. And I'm like, oh yeah, do you know what? This is why we're business partners. This is why we do what we do.
And sometimes, like, as much as like, I think the greatest thing about us two working together is the fact that we're so different in the sense that I'm kind of like the crazy risk taker. Which is something you need in business, but then also you need someone to stabilize you as well. Because if we were constantly taking risks, we wouldn't have a business. But if we were constantly being cautious, we also wouldn't have a business,
Exactly.
you know. So it's kind of a great balance. And you know, when we have these discussions where we're kind of on two different paths, we come to a really nice path where we kind of get a bit of both, which works really, really well, to be honest with you.
And have mum and dad ever been judge and jury to ideas?
I would say yes at times. Obviously we work at home, right? Like that's where our business is. So our parents see everything we do. We make a new product, we're taking photos, and we've got a little corner in the house that we do it in. And our mum and dad are like, oh, I really like that. Oh, that looks amazing. Or you know, we'll be talking about an idea and they overhear us and say, oh, do you think that's gonna work? Or you know, and I appreciate it, and I definitely love hearing it from us. I think you would also say the same. But at the same time, sometimes you kind of think, well, you don't really know the target market that we're kind of aiming this at. So I don't know if I should take everything you say as gold.
It's when we have our discussions, if we want to put it like that rather than argument. Not arguments, but they're like heated discussions, you know, like but like we can survive them. But like those sort of things, it's when we're having that discussion, I think people in our family, like mum, dad, brother, they see it and they don't want us to be like in an argument, or you know, they don't want us to be like that. So they try and kind of like, you know, calm it down, or just say, listen, like everyone's right. And, you know, but like, I mean, they're doing it from the kindness of the heart, obviously. But like, I think, especially with the Institute of Business, it's very difficult incorporating other people because, like Nikia said, they don't know the full story. So when they put their advice in, it potentially, it maybe isn't where you want it to be, or they don't have the knowledge to, but not in a bad way, but obviously they don't have the like outline of what we have. Which I think.
But then with that, they are massively helpful because I mean, we do these shows, right? Like every year we do about 2 shows, which is like all to do with the wedding market. One in Excel London and one is in Heathrow. And our whole family gets involved. Like literally we'll sit there in the evening watching TV and packing little sweet bags that we're going to give away to all of our customers. Literally like everyone gets involved. So it's amazing. So, you know, they are a massive support, especially the fact that we're doing it by ourselves. Do you know what I mean? So
100%.
Any other siblings?
So we got a
one
brother.
younger one.
And he actually, his younger brother, he's 6 years younger.
6 years younger,
yeah, then
so like 20.
So he's gonna be 21 this year.
Okay, perfect.
So he works kind of on the sideline with us.
He's also in it,
but also he's not in it as well. So he has his own little vinyl company. So he does all of our vinyl work. And we basically just send him the designs, and he will actually just basically create the vinyls.
So another business owner. So 3 business owners in one under one room.
I mean,
I'd have to add to that actually. My dad's also got his own business, and my mum used to have her own business doing art for kids. So our household is just full of that. Like we've just grown up around that. We've grown up around art and business. So that's exactly why we're where we are, I think.
100%.
So obviously art in the Asian culture, Indian specifically, is I know I was told not to do anything to do with that. I was crap anyway. So it doesn't matter. So luckily we didn't have to cross that road. But stability again of jobs is what my parents kind of wanted to instill me. I didn't listen, obviously. But like, what kind of advice were you given from that generation? Obviously being, you know, the Indian parents, the first generation that came across, like, were they always like, no, better do whatever you want, or was it like, no, please get a job and then figure out? What advice were you given?
I think we were quite lucky because our parents were very much like, listen, just whatever you're happy with, like pursue. But I think my dad, being from India, kind of still had the kind of a bit of influence there, so he still did kind of want us to kind of go into a certain place. But I mean, when I say that he's still kind of whatever you're passionate about. So we explored so many things when we were little, before we kind of got where we wanted to get to. But I mean, I think you had a different experience being kind of the older one, didn't you?
Yeah, I think I agree. My dad is massively supportive with our business. He loves what we do and he supports us in every way. But when we were growing up, I think I loved art and that was something I really enjoyed, but I never felt like that was going to be something that I could go into, or that was a career path for me, or that's something that you can make loads of money from. I never really felt that. I kind of felt like, you know, be an accountant or, you know, go into those sort of fields where you're going to be earning high amounts of money. You've got to be very intelligent to do it. And I was quite good at maths. So my dad kind of automatically was like, oh yeah, be an accountant, you know, you can earn loads of money doing that. And I just thought, oh yeah, that's what I'll do. That's, you know, that's my path. And then it was kind of like, oh, business. Yeah, I kind of like business. Let's go into that. So for me, art was always a hobby. Okay. I never really understood at that time how I could do both together. Okay. So I've always wanted to have my own business. I've always wanted to just be my own boss. But I never really knew like what could I do with that. I went to uni and I did business management, and I came out of uni feeling like, okay, know a bit more about business, but what do I do with that? Like where, you know, where do I go? So I think growing up I was a little bit like, I don't really know what I'm going to do. Although we just loved art. And I think that's why we kind of sort of fell into this, doing what we're doing now.
100%. Yeah.
And was it the same for you? Did you go into like education as well, or did you skip uni?
So I did. I mean, it's a bit of a whirlwind of me, but I actually did do a lot of art subjects for GCSEs. I did drama, art and product design. And then Spanish and all the other subjects. But then when I went to A-levels, I went to art and product design. So again, staying quite arty. And then for uni, I wanted to go into art, but I didn't really know where in the art industry, because the art industry is so big. And I didn't really know kind of what I want to do. Like Nikki said, like, you see art as a hobby. You don't see actual jobs when you think of art. So I did art foundation. That helped me kind of understand the whole market. I got really into my photography during my art foundation. And I think that's what kind of led to me pursuing photography. And then after my foundation, I went to do product design at Kingston. And at the same time as that, same time as my art foundation, I was working at British Airways as check-in staff. And then I love traveling as well, so that was kind of like a side little thing for me. And then when I went to uni, I actually just went, do you know what? Like, I'm going to become cabin crew. I'm just going to see what happens. So I did that, and I actually did uni and cabin crew
at the same time.
Like it was. I'm telling you, when I say it was a hectic year, I used to like. So I used to fly out Friday evening. I'll be away for 2 days, 12-hour flights to South Africa, 12-hour flight back, one night there, that's it, like crazy tired. And I'll get back on Monday morning, and we used to have a lecture on Monday morning. So I literally used to get off at work, go straight to uni, get changed there, and then go to the lecture for an hour. I probably just slept that hour, I'm not gonna lie to you, in the lecture, but
you know they're optional, right? You know they're optional.
No, I know, but like, you know, I think, do you know what it was my tutor. He had a bit of an issue with me working for British Airways, because he kept saying, like, obviously you're not here in the workshop, like you've got to be here in the workshop, and it just wasn't productive for me to be there in the workshop. So I never was. So I think I wanted to just make a point that I was going to be there.
And you made it.
Yeah, and I made it every time. I mean, I might have been a bit, but I still made it.
That is what you call jet setter.
Oh, trust me. But yeah, so I think that's kind of where I and then I left uni because I thought to myself, I kept doing these projects, and I was like, I'm putting so much energy and effort into these projects, and they're just fizzling out, as in like they're just, that's the end of it. You get a grade and you move on to the next thing. So I thought, you know what? And I spoke to my parents about this, but Nikki spoke to my brother as well. And I said, you know what? Like, I really want to pursue photography. And I was like, I really, really, really want to start a business. And then that's when we started speaking as well. And I was like, I don't feel like being at uni is going to be as productive. I had a year and a half left, and I was like, I just feel like I could do so much more in that year and a half. I had a whole plan of kind of where I wanted to go, and Nick sat down with me. We kind of worked together on that. And then that's kind of where the photography business was kind of born, really.
Wow. Okay. So did you come in at this point at the photography business, or was this now?
We did it together. So for me, as much as I love art, photography wasn't naturally something that I was really into as such. But I've always wanted to have my own business. And what better than to start it with your brother, right? So I was like, cool, let's just, let's go into this together. You can do the photography. I can learn from you as well. You're going to need someone to help you with the marketing, make a logo, make a website, all of that sort of stuff, which I'm quite good at. So that's what we did. And we just grew, and we found these little opportunities here and there. I think one of our first major jobs was for a guy from Hollyoaks.
Oh wow!
I know. So this guy from Hollyoaks, he was getting married, and he was like, "We're looking for a photographer. It's like a small little get together sort of engagement party." So and we happened to just secure that job, and we were just like, "Wow!" It was amazing though. It was the first one. Yeah, it was such a great opportunity, and we just kind of grew from there and explored that sort of side of things.
We went into like loads of different things in that market. We did real estate, we did products,
people.
We did people. I think people is where I kind of I loved that. I like just photographing people like that was my kind of like thing. I really enjoyed that. We even did some videos for some people, like little like kind of reels.
I've loved video. Like I love making videos, right? So, and even if it's on my phone and stuff like that, I used to do it at work all the time, and then in the photography side of things as well, like we did a little bit of video, so even for like properties and stuff like that. I just to explore it, and it was a hobby at the end of the day, and I was like, let me just learn a bit more about this. So we did that, and that's how kind of the photography side of it went, and we loved it. But I think we just both wanted more. We wanted something that was just gonna give us more out of it at the end of the day, and I think that's probably why we ended up taking that path we took, getting to where we are now.
It's amazing. Wow, that sounds like a journey.
It was a journey, and I think, do you know what? I don't know if laser would have happened maybe as quickly, should I say, if COVID didn't hit, because we were hitting our stride with photography and videography, to be honest with you, before COVID, and we had shoots pretty much like a few a month, like paid shoots. Things were kind of escalating. I mean, I think, did we do that? No, we did it in August, but we did the real estate stuff before, and that was also something we were exploring. We bought a lot of equipment that was like good equipment that was going to help us give more professional footage to our clients. So all of that stuff was kind of like going well. But then as soon as COVID hit, I think that's where obviously we cut all of our jobs straight away.
We're kind of forced to just look at the business and be like, what can we do now? Exactly. And that's what took us to where we were.
It's a great time that we got to explore a lot. So see what we kind of liked and then kind of push through with that. But,
Okay. All right, we're going to get to the hard-hitting portions of questions now. Okay. Some may be easy, some may not be difficult. Can money buy happiness? Nikki, you first.
No.
Yeah? Cannot?
I want to say, actually, can I just change that question?
Can you change the question?
Okay, change the
sorry.
Podcast.
Okay. You know what? Like, as much as I want to say no, I do feel like there's a part to play in it, because you can't live in this world without money, right? Like, I think you need money to kind of get you to where you want to get to as well. Like, we wanted to start a business. We used our own money to get there, you know, to start doing that. But for me, a huge thing is family, right? Like, family is everything to me. I would drop absolutely anything for family. And, you know, I don't need to pay for that. That gives me my happiness. So that's why I would say yes and no. Okay. Family is everything, but you do need money to be comfortable and to kind of get you to where you want to get to as well.
Okay. I'd probably say like something quite similar, to be honest with you. I feel like money helps make you comfortable, but happiness comes from the kind of the place you are in life, you know, like emotionally, with your family, friends, everyone like that. So I don't feel like you can buy happiness, but I suppose you can buy being comfortable, you know, like as in like, you're not going to be worrying about bills. You're not going to be worrying about all of that sort of stuff but there will be other worries, you know, like, so,
And what's the biggest, like, comment for hate? And this can be socials, personally, like, that's been thrown at you collectively or you individually, where you feel like it's wanting to, you've just broken down and be like, you know what, I don't think I can do this anymore. Has it ever been that moment where you've been like, you know what, this is just too much now?
I don't think it's been a specific comment, because I can't really think, you know, touch words at the moment of any customer really having a comment like that. I think for us, we make all of our own products, right? So everything's designed by us, made by us. I think when we get customers who might say, you know, oh, this, you know, has arrived and there's a bit of scratch on it, for example, that's what I think makes us feel like, oh my gosh, like why has that happened? Like, you know, we don't want that, and we rectify it, and we always will do that.
I think we're really hard on ourselves.
Yeah, I think we're really hard on ourselves, and I think we just want everything to be perfect, and when it's not, which happens, like that happens to everyone, right? I think we just kind of think, oh my gosh, like where did we go wrong? Like why is this happening? Do you know what I mean? I think that's for us like the hard thing. We always want our customers to be really happy.
Okay.
Yeah, I think with me as well, I don't think I've like per se broken down about that sort of stuff, but I mean there have been some like very challenging moments where I've been like, why am I putting myself through this? Because I mean, owning a business, I think, is, especially in this day and age, it's glorified to be this, you can work whenever you want, you just get paid while you're eating sushi in like top end restaurants, do you get me? And like all of this stuff, like it seems like you've got everything together, but like it's like far from that. Like owning a business is so much harder.
So true.
And you know, working your way up in another business, you could probably at some points earn the same, you know, like so owning a business is a big choice, and I think there are moments where you're like, was this the right path, or should I have gone to in like a different path? But I mean, like the thing that keeps me going, I mean, in my job that I do, and I've been there for quite a while, is I get managers. Every flight we do, we have a different manager. So I've kind of had all of the different types of managers under the sun. Like, so you have some that are like cool and chill, some that are very strict, like extremely strict. And like having worked for so many people, like under them, like on trips, I've learned that like the pressures that are put down in companies are like pushed down on the managers, and then they're pushed down on you. So you, even if you kind of like your manager, you can still like, I'm waffling a bit, but like you can still like, you know, be unhappy in a job. And I mean, some of my mates are in jobs that they're not happy with. But at least like I'm happy that where I am, I enjoy what I actually do. Like making products is like my therapy. Like I'm in the shed just like making stuff, and like that makes me feel good, you know.
One word answer only this time. If you had to describe business in one word, what would it be, Nikki?
If I had to describe business in one word,
like your business, like your experience. Your
experience
in business.
I would say proud.
Okay. Yeah.
Because can I explain that or no?
Of course. Yeah.
I would say proud because for me, everything we do, I feel this immense feeling of proudness. Like, can you believe we've just done that? Like, we recently went to an event, Chantel's launch party in Belfast. It was the first ever trip we've ever taken as a business. And we went by ourselves. We didn't know anyone that was there. And we kind of looked at each other at one point in the night and we were like, oh my God, like, we just, you know, like we're here, we're doing such an amazing thing, and we've done ourselves proud. And I think even like products, we make a product and it's something new or it's a different color and we're like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's just that proud feeling, and I love that.
Okay. Look,
I feel like a word that maybe I can think of that kind of works is like perseverance, maybe. Like I think that's something that I think is like, don't get me wrong, like I feel like it's a positive word. I feel like it's, you know, like constantly growing, constantly like pushing forward, but like it is a challenge, you know, like to like constantly stay on it, especially when you work another job, you're tired, you've got other things to think about, like life and all that stuff. So I feel like perseverance is like one thing that I feel like I've got to constantly like think of, like push forward.
Worth the wait.
Exactly. My brain does not work. But
talk about life now. Yeah. So we just touched upon that. So what about life? What about love, Locks?
Non-existent. I feel like I'm married to the business. Let's just it's a rocky relationship. But no, it's good.
Do you feel like no matter what happens at this point, it's very difficult to sustain, maintain, or even engage in a new relationship being a business owner?
Yes, I do feel like that, because I feel like I mean, she hasn't found it hard, but I have. But I feel like being I think both my jobs just ruined me completely, because I feel like being a business owner, you're constantly worried, not constantly worried, but constantly working on your business, constantly thinking about things to improve. Even when you're not working, you're working because you're thinking about, like this product, how can I make it better? Or, I've seen this shop, our products could go perfectly in this shop. So it's constantly about networking and all of that stuff. So your mind's constantly on that. And then with my other job, I'm always traveling. So I'm never always in the country. So because of that, meeting people is quite difficult. I've got like plan time, and planning for me is not an easy thing. Like I struggle with it. So I feel like with both of those jobs, I feel like when I have a moment to myself to actually just sit down and chill, talk to somebody and stuff like that, most of the time I'm messaging my friends and family, people that are close to me that are going to start supporting me. So messaging other people, I have a time to message maybe one message, and then after that I get busy again and I can't message them back. So I feel like that's a constant struggle. I'm working on it at the moment. I feel like now that our business is kind of like moving, I feel like I can let go of the reins just slightly, and I can start working on myself a bit more and my life and stuff like that. So watch this space, you know.
What's this felt like?
Might be doing my own stuff.
And in terms of let's talk about mental health. Let's just, again, one question. Lox, do you ever feel lonely?
Yes, I think with both jobs, I feel like, because you're constantly like working on other things, and I think a business is one of the things that you can constantly work on and think about. So you sometimes neglect your own life and your own self and like personal goals, personal things. That like even simple stuff like just going to the gym, going swimming, like continuing like with just passions rather than just business, is a struggle being a business owner. And I feel like I lost my train of thought, but I feel like it is a very lonely sort of road, a road when you're a business owner, because it's like you don't really have time to like kind of engage with other people, you know, like as much as you'd want to, you know, at least. But
Why yourself, Nikki?
I would say I agree with that, to be honest with you. And I think, you know, the fact that we're working so much, you know, Friday nights when we were younger used to be, let's go on a night out, or let's go out with our friends. Now, a Friday night is just as the same as every other night for us. We're working, we're doing something, or might be seeing our family or whatever it is, but we don't really do much more than that as often as we maybe used to or should. And I think at times, you know, you can kind of sit there and get into your thoughts a little bit and be a bit like, oh, you know what, like it'd be really nice to be able to go out, or to have a moment where you don't have to think about the business or think about all these pressures in your life. And it can feel a little bit like, you know, constant. And I think people around you sometimes, as much as we do have people in the family that do have businesses, I think sometimes you feel like people don't understand you, or people don't really get your journey. And it's because our journey is unique. Everyone's journey is, I think. And it can get a lonely feeling like, you know, you don't really feel like anyone else maybe feels the same or understands you. Although me and Lox, we are on a level where obviously we're in the same business together, we do have that kind of level of understanding too. So it's good having a partner you can talk to about that, I think.
And the last question for you is, obviously we're going to see each other again in 10 years time. Us three.
Okay.
Where will you be? Lox, you go first.
Full-time in the business.
Okay, I like it,
We're looking at a headquarter, so like recreate HQ, actual headquarters place, where we have a lot of people working with us. I'm looking at like a creative, like a proper creative hub, kind of like basically what we are. That's where I kind of want to be in the future.
Okay.
And then obviously personal life, innit? Married and kids.
Okay. Amazing.
Standard. So
I would agree with that. I think for me, in 10 years, I would love to have say that we've got multiple places, you know, across maybe the country, maybe the world, who knows? But having a place where we can, you know, provide employment as well to so many people who are like us and who are creative and have a passion for the industry, I think that'd be really cool. I really would love that. And I think, you know, to be inspiring, I've always wanted to be a person that people could look up to and be like, oh, like, you know, I'm inspired by that journey and I want to do the same thing. I think for me, when I was a kid, I've never thought I would be doing what I am doing now. And, you know, I would want to make that person proud. I would want to make my younger self proud and be like, you know, look at what you can accomplish. Yeah. So, yeah.
Wow. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you both.
Thank you.
I know there's going to be big things coming. I'm so happy to have spoken to you. You're clearly very, 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 very intelligent entrepreneurs. And I personally don't know how you do it. I've got six businesses myself. And when I see people that working as hard as you, it's just amazing. Lord Sugar, you missed it. Yeah. All right, perfect. Let me give you a handshake. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.